Hi, I'm Dan Jackman from Trout Unlimited, Chapter 476. Tonight we're going to be tying the stimulator. This particular stimulator was tied by Randall Kaufmann. Basically, he uses a TMCR 200 hook ranging 16 to 10. Tonight we're going to be using a 12, which is a little bit bigger so that we can see clarification on the tying of it. The thread, any color, he uses olive, yellow, orange, chartreuse. Depends on what color of the stimulator you're going to be putting in. The tail, you're going to use some bleach hair elk because that's stiff. You want a real stiff tail on this. And what we're going to use for the body is going to be a dubbing that will match your thread. Tonight we'll be using a chartreuse color. We'll also be tying in a soft deer hair wing that will cover the back of it. We're going to have two hackles. The hackles can either be an olive grizzly, yellow grizzly, plain grizzly, and that'll be tied in the rear of the stimulator behind the wing. And in the front, you can use either a saddle, Indian saddle hackle, an amber, a blue dun, and that'll take care of the front of the. This stimulator was specifically designed for those who like to fish the Smoky Mountains. This is so that this fly, when you're fishing on the rapids, will not sink. It actually takes the beating off the rocks and everything and still stays float as it goes down. And that's the reason why he made this particular stimulator in this manner. So what we'll do is we'll start by taking a broad look at the stimulator. Okay, now this is what the finished fly will look like when we're done. The colors may vary depending on how you want to color it, and we'll start the steps. We'll put in a 200R hook, and I like to go ahead and pinch the barb down. I'm going to be using a chartreuse on this particular one, and you start your thread halfway back. Just take it right halfway back. And just take it back to where the point is. And then just leave the thread hanging down at the point. We're going to use the elk bleached hair here. Takes very little because this is going to have a real short tail. Go ahead and stack it. The length of the tail is actually the length of the gape. So you just want to measure it to where the length of the gape is. Pinch it off. I always put one wrap around the thread, bring it down right even on that point of the hook, and just tie it in. Don't worry about the front of it, just don't go back. Just tie it into where you got the front tied up. Then you can turn around and pick up your loose ends. And then tie it off. Stop right there in front of where you had your hook. Now the difference between this particular stimulator and the other ones is we tie everything backwards. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put in some dubbing. It just takes a little bit on this because all we're gonna do is dub back to the tail. Now you take your thread and just go barely back up to the front of the dubbing, right over what you just did. Now you can tie in your hackle, and on this particular one, I'll use a piece of this olive Grizzly. You can just prepare it like you normally do, strip off the bottoms. And you want to tie it shiny side up. Lay it right across the top of the body that you just tied with the dubbing. Gently tie it in. Okay, now I'm trying to any loose hairs right here. Now the first two wraps are going to be right in front of the dubbing, side by side. Just like that. Then we're going to palmer it back with a nice little even space. Then when you get it back, you want to hold it. Then you want to weave your thread through the hackles to the back and then tie it off. This method, apparently, according to Randall, keeps the fly from disintegrating easily and lasts a lot longer. Once you get it tied off, go ahead and wind your thread back up through your hackle. Pull the front back. And then just tie it off there. And trim off the hackle. You want to go ahead and wind your thread forward about 1/4 of an inch. Building up just a little body. From there, we want to dub back to the hackle. You don't need a lot on this one because all you're doing is right in front of the wing. Hope that shows up. Again, once you get the dubbing back to the hackle, bring your thread back up to the front, lay it right in front of the dubbing right there, tie it off. Now we're going to put in the wing, and what you want is some real soft deer hair, elk hair, something that's a little softer, a little fluffier. You don't need a lot, just about a little pinch. Go ahead and run that in there. This is what you do is you want to lay the wing just about the length of the shaft. And again, I take One wrap around mine. And pull it right on down to where the front of the hackle is. Leaving the front end open. And try not to go back on the on the dummy. And we can cut off a lot of people. Now run the thread over that tips or over the butt end all the way up to the eye. Try to tie down some of them loose ends. You can trim off the rest of this. Again, we're going to dub backwards to the wing. And again, we don't need a lot because it's just a short distance. Trying just to build a little tapered head. Once you're done, bring the thread back up to the eye. And again, we're going to tie in a forward hackle. On this one, I'll just use a little piece of ginger right here. Again, the shiny side will go up. That way everything's, I'll lay that right on top of this. And again, run your two hackles up front. And once you get to the back, weave your thread through the hackle and bring it back over there and tie it off. And work it back up to the front. Pull it back. Go ahead and put some half inches in there. Then cut off the hackle. On this particular fly, just before you get ready to fish it, you want to take the tail and spread it out. All you have to do is take the thumb and roll it out like it's a spread eagle, just to where it's, the wing will lay back. And that's for Kaufmann's Stimulator.